Hi, I'm Maria Miles, president of the Hellenic Film Society, and I welcome you to our discussion today with Myrto Tzima. We are celebrating Women's Month all of March, and with Myrto, we're going to have a behind-the-scenes look at what happens in film. Usually our interviews are about actors, directors, producers, writers sometimes. But this time I really wanted to turn a corner and look behind that curtain and get some insights and fun information from Myrto. Myrto is an Athens-based visual artist, creative director, film professional, and art director. Myrto, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So you're multi-talented, you work in a variety of media. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your art.
Okay, so as an artist, my mediums mostly include photography, and mostly in analog format, writing, working with archives, and the moving image. I also work in the cinema field as an art director. I have also worked as an assistant director and a bit in production, but I mostly do things that are in the art department the past years. And also I had been working as a film programmer for 4 years, which was also amazing.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say it, but I think you're an exceedingly talented young woman who is
Thank
carving
you.
out and have carved out a career, an amazing career in a very young age, in a very quick time. And most notably, you have a long-standing and ongoing collaboration with the very talented and extraordinary Alexandros Vulgaris. So, Alexandros, tell us how you met Alexandro, how you started working with him. But
Mhm,
he
of
also has a very interesting way of shooting, which is he likes to shoot in film, in analog versus digital.
course.
So tell us a little bit about Alexandro, your relationship with him, and what it's like to work with him.
Of course. So I met Alexandros in my early 20s. I had just finished college and I took some cinema seminars, and he was my teacher. And we became very close as collaborators and friends really well because, well, we kind of belong in the same universe. He told me, you know what, Myrto, I'm going to make a new feature film after many years. I haven't made one. It's called Thread, and I want you to work on it on the art department. And basically, this is where everything started. We worked in that film together and we became very close. We started working on everything together. He's my closest collaborator in Greece. We do film, we do video clips, photo shootings. He's the best collaborator anyone could ask for. He's the calmest person I know in a movie set. He deeply cares about creating a world and everyone in the set belonging in this world. You know what I mean? Like he
He's
deeply
wonderful.
cares. Yeah, he
We
deeply
also
cares.
did an interview with him last year,
I saw it. I
and
saw it. He's
and
so
so
sweet.
people can go and see that one too if they're interested. But Alexandros is a visionary, but it
Mm,
really emanates from him. He really sets the tone.
I totally agree. Like he really cares about his collaborators and he deeply cares about the characters in his films that he wrote, even if they're not the best people in the world. He's
Okay.
so much understanding in everything, and like honestly, he's the best person to work with. He leaves you space if you want to do your stuff. He knows what he wants, so he makes things easier for all of us that are around him and try to build a world because building a world, two different people or 30 different people building a world can be challenging
Oh,
to have
oh,
the
I
same
know.
to have the same vision and understand the vision of the director.
How do you work with Alexandro in the what does an AD do for people who don't know what this is, what the position does?
The assistant director,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a tricky position because you hear about it and you're like, oh, assistant director, they belong in the directional staff. Not that much. The assistant director, I mean, he's very close with the director in the whole process from the pre-production till the end of the shooting. They arrange everything together. They may go scouting together, do all this stuff. But basically, the assistant director is in charge of the shooting to go well. So he's in charge of everyone being on time. Everyone has the information they need to have about locations, about everything. You are the maestro of the shooting, basically. That's what an assistant director is.
So that's a lot of coordination with department heads to make
Exactly.
sure,
You
and
are the
not only that,
coordinator.
but budgeting, right? You need to make sure that you allot the right amount of time, you don't go over budget. Now, let's talk about this very interesting thing. Because of Alexander's shooting in film,
Hmm.
how does that, one, affect the budget, and two, create, I think, a bit of a pressure environment because there's a limited amount of film stock, right? You can't just delete film and do it again like a digital file. You have a limited number of takes, a limited number of times. So how does that make your life easier or more difficult?
So that's a very interesting question. So Alexandros, for many years now, he works in film. I, as a photographer who works mostly with analog mediums, I love that because you know what? When you learn to work in film, you learn discipline. It's
Mm,
so much different than working in digital format. People, first of all, Alexandros works like he chooses to have collaborators for life. So his DOP, his actors, his actresses, all the people that are on the set, it's usually people who he has been working for many years. So, when you learn in film, you learn discipline. You learn that we only have 3 shots, 4 shots maximum. And you know what? Every time we make it because
sure.
you learn how to do it. You learn that you don't have this unlimited time to do your things. You must do it. And you know what? It works. It
He's
makes,
even said a little bit about the pressure. The first take sometimes is the best because of that pressure.
yeah, you know what? Sometimes the first take is the best, and that's very common. But on the other hand, also film, we choose film for aesthetic reasons. I mean, we love film, we love its sense of, like the film image is kind of timeless and dreamy. You can't get that from digital. We really support it as a group that works together.
I mean, his films are very distinct.
Mm.
They do have that special touch about them. I think if you've seen one of Alexandros' films, you understand some of the cinematography, the filming, everything is just so lovely and transportive. Like it takes you to another place, really.
I agree.
So now you also mentioned some work with film festivals. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Course. So one of the main projects I had worked in Greece for 8 years was because now it ran its circle. It took place for 11 years, starting 2013 until 2024. It was Syros International Film Festival that took place in the island of Syros. This is probably the best project I have worked in Greece besides the feature films and my own exhibition and stuff. Like, it's a hybrid festival. It's called Film Festival, but basically it's visual arts, performances, moving image with live scoring, musicians that took place around the island of Syros every July in so many different places, like an old quarry, an old tannery, shipyard, 19th century monastery, abandoned places. It's truly an amazing project. Like you were wandering around the island and seeing these amazing performances and films in the craziest places.
I
And I
love
was,
that.
yeah, it's
So it's
crazy.
in July for those who will be traveling to Greece in the summer.
It used to be in July. Unfortunately, it's not taking place anymore. But it
Oh
took place
no.
for, yeah, it took place for 11 years. It didn't take place this summer. It may take place again, but at
Okay.
the time is
Fingers crossed. It's hard
fingers
operating
crossed. It's the
a
best festival in
festival.
Greece.
It's very hard. We know how hard it is. But I'm happy that it was such a unique experience and brought together so many people because so many people from all over the world either have told me they stumbled across it, they didn't know, or they intentionally went to Syros for it. So that's
Mm.
lovely.
I have to tell to the audience that I was the photographer there. I took photos of the festival, but I had the directors of the festival gave me freedom to go around the island and do whatever I want. Like I was taking photos of the festival, but I was also taking photos of all these old places. We created a photo book. It was amazing. It was the best time.
So now tell us about Drama. That's a shorts film festival.
Drama is the most famous short film festival in Greece. It takes place in northern Greece in a very small town called Drama, which is extremely beautiful. And I had been working there for 4 years as a film programmer. Our head director was Yorgos Zois, the film director. We were a team. We were trying to be a team that not everyone does the same thing. So it was a director, a journalist, a visual artist, that we were basically seeing all the admissions, and from 2,000 films, choosing 30.
That's wow.
That takes about 7 months to be done, and 8 people that watch around 300 films each, and then everyone sees everyone's best. And this is
Right.
how you escalate to the final selection, which is a crazy situation.
It always amazes me, screeners at all festivals around the world, but that Drama in a small little town in Greece, in northern
Mm,
Greece, can call for so many submissions. Um,
mm,
and under the director's uh, leadership, it's really become something of an amazing festival.
mm.
I hope that they'll be able to
Amazing.
continue it.
You should go.
Well,
At
yeah.
some point.
Let's see if they continue the festival, first of all, and
Yeah,
then
I know it's such a pity. That's why I'm talking in past
past
tense.
tense.
Yeah.
I have a philosophy generally, cream rises to the top. So when people come together and create good projects, it will find a way back.
Mm,
So whether it's in Drama or somewhere else, we'll see what happens. But I know that Greece will find its way and have another world recognized shorts festival.
mm, I
And it
agree.
really was a springboard for many filmmakers to Thessaloniki and in the labs all
Mm,
over Europe. So it had great partnerships. I hope they find a way to continue that.
me too.
Now, tell us, you mentioned photography.
Hmm.
Now tell us a bit about you as a photographer, as a visual artist.
Hmm.
What is your inspiration? Where can people come see your work?
So yeah, I have been working as a photographer both as a job and both as an art medium. So it's the thing that's in my life the most, because I take photos every day. I love it. I take photos since I was a kid, basically, because my father is a mountaineer, and he was an amazing photographer. So he bought me my first camera when I was 8 years old, like an analog camera. So this is the thing that has been in my life the most. As I told you before, I mostly shoot in analog, and I try to also do my professional stuff in analog. And fortunately, it has come back in fashion, both in cinema and still image. I mean, I had a big solo show last year that was amazing, went amazingly, but I'm not showing somewhere at the moment. But there's always new stuff coming up. Like I'm gonna prepare a small show in Athens that spring. I don't still have the information about it, like the space and everything, but I
When you do,
definitely,
let us know.
of course, yeah, 100%.
And who knows, maybe we'll see you in New York.
Fortunately, yeah, I think we will.
Now, one topic that's dear to my heart because I teach filmmakers. You also teach. So tell us about that
Yeah.
experience.
I forgot to mention that before because it's kind of new in my life.
Hmm.
So I have been teaching for the past 1 year and a half. This is my second year. So teaching is a school for me because it's so new in my life. The first time I had to teach, I was like preparing for days, like if I was the student.
Absolutely. It's like
You
a final exam. There's a lot of work that goes into putting
a
up a
lot
class.
of
Yeah.
work, but I love it. Like trying to to all this knowledge I have all these years, like practical knowledge, uh, learning history, photography, everything. Try to collect all this stuff and make it into a lesson for my students. It's an amazing process because I have all these things in my head. I know how to do this. I know this stuff, but making it into a lecture is amazing. I love it. I really wish to continue on doing this thing in my life on the side of other stuff.
Well, I think your passion transmutes to the students, and I think that that's ultimately what will keep going, and the ability to convey the information. And I'm sure you make it very fun and very entertaining. For me, it's at the end of the semester, seeing how much they learned, or when I didn't think they were paying attention, they really are paying attention. That's the reward for me, knowing that they've come away with something a bit more. Now, have we not tapped on something that you do? Because you are really a multi-hyphenate artist.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, basically, I think this is it, These days, I'm mostly at this college I'm teaching, so this is my main thing at the moment. But yes, every month is different. This is true. Like sometimes I'm in a film shooting, sometimes I have a lot of work in photography stuff. And to be honest, I really love living like that. Not every week to be the same routine. I
I
love
think that's
jumping
what
from.
I think artists need that. I
Yeah.
think artists need the breathing room. You need the time for your brains to
Mm,
come up with new ideas. Because everyone else, I can tell you, who's stuck in an office, we don't have that much free time to think and contemplate these things. Now, filmmaking is never easy. We know that from a variety of angles, right? From
mhm.
coming up with a good script is very difficult. While it may seem undisciplined to the untrained eye or someone who is not knowledgeable, filmmaking is a very disciplined art. So from the very beginning till the very end, it is a great deal of teamwork, seeing things to completion and making sure that it's hitting that level of professionalism, expertise, taste, all of it. So for you, okay, so in the US, there is
Mhm.
studio system and independent film. Independent films are very difficult. Greece is all one big independent film. Everything being done in Greece is essentially independent film. So what are the pros and cons of this?
Okay, I'm gonna take the chance and talk about something I wanted to talk in the
Of
beginning
course.
of the call, and I think this little story will tell you everything. As I mentioned, back in 2014, I worked in my first feature, Thread by Alexandros Voularis. So I was in charge of some things on the set design. This is how I started working on the film. But some days before the shooting started, he told me, "You know what, Myrto? I want you to also be the assistant director." So that was like a brand new school for me,
The day before.
like a week before. But I
Okay,
was I
still,
wasn't
wow.
trained. Like I
Yeah,
had just finished college. This was I wasn't sleeping that month.
of
But
course.
so he gives me the scenario like some weeks before that because I was already dealing with some stuff in the scenography. He gives me the scenario, the script, and it's a film that if someone was reading it would be like this is a multi-million-dollar budget film, 100 locations, 200 locations, so many characters. And he was like, we have this budget, which was nothing, and
Right.
we're gonna shoot it in a tannery. Each scene is gonna be in this building. So we built this world that was all these crazy sci-fi locations literally from scratch. We were going every day at this building with our staff and building the scene. Like,
Wow.
okay, this is an airport, let's say. Okay, we're gonna make a video that's a sky, and then it was
Right.
crazy. So, and we managed to create this world. You know what I mean. Like,
Absolutely.
you learn how to do stuff with what you have. And of
Right.
course, it's nice having money and to do some stuff that are expensive. But to be honest, I feel very lucky that this is how I learned to do film.
Right. You have to make do. You have to ingenuity. You have to figure it out. That's the one thing that I tell people, just figure it out. There is a
Find
solution.
solutions. Yeah. I truly feel lucky on learning like that. I wish to to work in the future in stuff with more money, but I think having this basis is amazing.
Of course, because you know you can turn anything into something,
Mm.
right? And now juxtapose Thread with Polydroso, which is Alexander's latest film. Now that was very cinematic, right? You filmed in a house, you filmed in a town, the town of Polydroso.
Mm.
And interestingly, Alexander told us he grew up there, and so did Vicky Kaya, and I
And
believe
so
Sofia
should
Kokali.
we.
So all three grew up. So
Yeah.
what was that like? Because did you really have to build that much there? Did you have to worry about those concerns? How is that different?
Yeah, that was entirely different from Thread because you know what happened? We had to get to go in their world. So it was Vicky Kaya and Sofia Kokali who were the protagonists, the director who was Alexandros. So the three most important people of the film were coming from this neighborhood. So we had to enter their world because Polydroso is a place that hasn't changed. It's like a suburb near the mountains in Athens. So it's kind of timeless. You go there and it's like you're in the 90s. So we were going there every day, pre production, shooting days. And every corner was a memory for Sophia and Vicky and Alexandros.
So
Yeah.
instead of creating it, you had to make sure to capture it.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. It was already there, and the rest of us had to manage to capture it and kind of respect it as well.
That's tremendous. Well, thank you for giving us a little sneak peek into this world that very few of us understand or think about, all the hardworking people behind the scenes. The crew are the unsung heroes for me. The way you bring things to life is extraordinary. Now, what's your next project? What are you working on next?
Be honest, what I'm trying to manage at the moment is to continue my studies out of Greece in
Okay.
US. So I'm super focused on that because I have all these things to deal with, like bureaucratic stuff, application stuff. But I'm extremely, extremely excited about it.
And so I love it when the teacher becomes the student again.
Yeah.
I always end these interviews, when I do them at least, with, if you could describe yourself with one word, what would that word be?
Yes.
I know it's hard.
I know. Spontaneous.
You are, and I
Yeah,
like that.
I am.
Yes,
I am.
that's a
Yeah.
great answer. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for being such a strong and fierce woman working in this extraordinary world, bringing people's visions to life. And we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much for the
And
interview.
as you have more art shows or films, feel free to let us know.
Of course.